Alright, this is John Colo with OKRAW.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and in this episode I'll be talking about my opinions and what I believe about protein, DHA, and omega-3 fatty acids. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm soon coming out with a recipe book that's going to have over 120 recipes of foods actually I eat on a regular basis, so that you guys could learn how to eat out, how I eat if you're interested. You know, I tend to think that I eat, mostly all raw fruits and vegetables. It's basically a plant-rich, phytonutrient-rich diet that is essential, if you want to be as healthy as you guys can. So be sure to click that subscribe button right down below to be notified when I have a video and my recipe book is going to be out. I will have a video on it for sure. Anyways, in the beginning of the book and all scattered throughout the book, I will also have and share my tidbits of knowledge that I've learned over the many years I've been into a plant-based, fruit and vegetable dominated diet now. And I started in 1995, so this is like, I don't know, however many years it's been, quite a long time. But yeah, so in the beginning we're going to talk about like different nutrients that you may need to get and should be concerned about, or just my general opinions on them, because I know it comes up a lot. And part of that is actually this video right here. So first, let's talk about protein, right? Since the time we are youngins, right, we've been drilled into us that we need all this protein. And that's maybe common, thought of what's out there in the world, and that a lot of people still think that you can't be vegan or eat a plant-based diet because you're not going to get enough protein, and the proteins aren't complete in the plants that you guys see behind me that I'm growing in my garden. So I'm going to dispel and share my opinions and research on that with you guys, and share what I like to do for my protein on my plant-based fruit and vegetable dominated diet. All right, so number one, get that out of your head that you need to eat some animal products to get your protein. We do not need to eat animal products to get our protein, in my opinion, and based on the research I've seen, right? And if you think about it, this is why this makes sense, right? Is where do the animals get their protein? Animals don't make their own protein, right? They eat it. So like a cow, if a cow is grazing in the fields, he's eating lots. And I don't mean a little bit. He's eating a lot of grass. How do cows get to be 1,000 pounds? They eat tons and tons and tons of grass. Basically, they eat, sleep, shit, and maybe have some sex once in a while. And that's all they do, but they eat a lot, right? And so they get all their protein they need from plants. So likewise, we can get all the protein we need from plants. That being said, we need a good quantity of plants. And what is a good quantity of plants? A good quantity of plants is the amount of calories that you need to eat, depending on your weight, size, height requirements, and all that kind of stuff, and your exercise. And so if you eat enough plants to get enough calories, right, you're going to get enough protein, right? And the other thing I'd like to say is that, while there's been cultures in the world that have lived on nothing but potatoes, and people always like to point this out, and they got enough protein, I want to encourage you guys to eat a wide variety of plant foods, whether that's leafy greens, fruits and vegetables, tuberous carrots, like I got some purple carrots planted in here, nuts, seeds, everything. I want you guys to eat the gamut of the different kinds of plant foods, because every different plant food has a little bit different levels of amino acids, and amino acids are basically the building blocks of protein. So we shouldn't really even think about protein. We should concern ourselves more with the amino acids. And to make a long story short, just know that if you eat a wide variety of plant foods, and I like to eat minimally processed plant foods in their whole and natural state as much as possible, we will get enough protein. And, the other thing is that I really hate in life is that when I go into a health food store, they have the vegan protein powder section, or maybe even the whey protein powder for the bodybuilders, to be strong. Well, I have friends that are 100% plant-based, and they're quite strong without any animal protein. And, I really hate and dislike strongly the vegan protein powders, and I would encourage you guys actually not to support the companies that make them or take them yourself, right? We could get all the protein we need from whole food sources of protein. The protein powders on the store are basically a food source. So they take peas, they basically extract all the nutrients, all the good stuff out of the peas, and they leave just the pea protein. So, just like when you take a sugar cane and you process it only out the sugar, and you have the sugar, and then all the other nutrients are gone. So the protein powders, in my opinion, are a highly processed food and an unbalanced food. I want you guys to get your protein in whole foods, right? Leafy greens, like you see behind me that I'm growing in my garden, have some of the highest amounts of protein, right? You got to eat more leafy greens. And one of the things I learned is that even the collard green stems, right, they have a lot of protein too. So make sure you eat your collard greens and other green stems, Swiss chard stems. All these stems are amazing sources of protein as well as other nutrients, but a lot of people chop them off and they go in the compost bin or they go in the garbage, right? I like to juice all the stems and get the nice juice out of them, but also extract the nutrients from them as well. Now if you want a high source of protein because you think you're just not going to get enough, right? Don't grab that vegan protein powder. Grab one of the best whole food sources of protein, in my opinion, in the entire world. Actually, I think even more than meat. And that's Spirulina. So, many of you guys might be able to get this kind of stuff. The Health Force brand, Spirulina Mono. Many companies make Spirulina. But very important to get a good company that does a lot of testing on their Spirulina. Make sure there's no contamination. Of course, better than a dried product is fresh Spirulina. So I got some fresh Spirulina, raw living Spirulina. This stuff is super fresh. I mean, you got to keep it in the fridge and it's going to expire pretty soon, so I'm going to eat it. But look at that, man. That's just like fresh Spirulina harvested. A farm out of Florida. You can learn about them at rawlivingspirulina.com and order it yourself. And I have to say, I was super impressed with this company and how they package it. The packaging, even though it was shipped in like with these ice packs, it's like 100% recyclable, or compostable. Even the peanuts I could put in my composter. They use it like plastic, compostable plastic. Super impressive, and I'm reusing the cold packs actually for when I travel. But but anyways, the algae, right? They are probably one of the highest sources of the amino acids and the proteins, right? Because that's where the fish. That's the grass for fish versus the grass for cows, right? Algae is basically the food for the fish. So if you're eating fish, you're really eating algae secondhand. So just eat the algae, and the algae have so many different essential fatty acids, within them, and we just need to eat them in much higher quantities. And if you don't want to eat the algae, right, you could have a higher form of algae or the sea vegetables, right? I love eating sea vegetables. Sea vegetables are another amazing source of not only protein, but see, when you eat a food in its whole package, like if I'm picking a leaf of lettuce out of my garden here and I eat the lettuce, not only do I get the protein in this lettuce, not only do I get the chlorophyll in the lettuce, not only do I get all the different vitamins and minerals and trace minerals, but especially in this red lettuce, I'm getting anthocyanins, which are antioxidant pigments. So don't shortchange yourself by just taking a vegan protein powder that's basically devoid of all the other things. Oh, I'm also getting good water content in my fresh picked leafy green. Let me eat that. That's really good. Wow, I wish you were here. But yeah, when you eat these processed foods, you're missing out on the whole spectrum of other things, And that's why I like the fresh Spirulina, right? It has a water content, whereas a dried one has the water sucked out. Also, this one, because it's still alive, right, I could basically put the Spirulina in a fish tank with the proper nutrients and grow more, which is really cool. So it's truly a living food, just like the lettuce I just harvested out of my garden and ate. It's living and it has enzymes, and I think these are quite important and things that people don't normally think about. I think that's probably my main things on protein. Eat plant foods, eat them in their whole natural state, and eat as a wider variety, and eat different kinds of foods, because every different food will have different levels of protein. And don't get stuck on that you make the same exact smoothie in the morning, or the juice, you have the same exact juice in the morning, you have the same exact fruit for lunch, and you have the same salad for dinner. Every day, I might have a juice, a smoothie, or fresh fruit for breakfast, and every day it changes. Depending on what's in season, I'm eating seasonally and whatever's ripe and fresh in my garden. Like yesterday I ate broccoli. Today I'm eating red lettuce out of my garden. Oops. Tomorrow I'll probably eat some arugula. The next day I'll probably be eating something else, right? Today I had some tree collards in my juice. So always rotate it up to get a spectrum of different phytochemicals, phytonutrients, and of course the protein. These days I don't focus on protein at all. I don't count my protein. I don't really care about protein. What I really care about is actually eating foods for their phytonutrient value. That's why I have lots of, if you look, like a lot of purple lettuces, right? These pigments and the coloring of the foods, whether it's, especially purple or red even the orange and the carrots, or even just green. Super critical for our health. You want to get away as much as you can from white food. So if you're still eating white rice, I don't really eat white rice myself, but if you are, I would encourage you to switch to a black rice, a red rice, or what I eat actually is a bloomed wild rice. Next, I want to share with you guys my opinions on omega-3 fatty acids. So omega-3 fatty acids are in things like flax seeds and to a lesser extent chia and hemp seeds. And they're also in the leafy greens here. And omega-3 fatty acids are an essential fat. That means that we need to eat it in our diet and our bodies will not make it. Some kind of fats our bodies could, create out of, the food we give it and whatnot. But omega-3 fatty acids are not something that our bodies can create, so we need to eat it. So the gamut varies widely. I have friends that say, hey, if you eat nothing but leafy greens and a fruit diet, you're right, leafy greens and fruit with no overt fats, you can have omega-3 sufficiency. That being said, you need to eat lots of leafy greens. Purslane's high in leafy greens. There's a lot of other things high, but you got to eat a lot of leafy greens. So while I do believe that you can get enough omega-3 fatty acids from just eating greens and fruits, that's not the route I take, because omega-3s are very critical for anti-inflammatory purposes, but also those omega-3s get converted into higher level fatty acids like DHA and EPA that I'll be talking about in a little bit. And so it's very important, especially as you're getting more mature in your years and getting wiser and going around the sun a few more times. I believe it's very important to increase the amount of, especially the omega-3s, but more importantly, potentially even the DHA, like I'll talk about in a minute. So what I do every day is I have like a tablespoon of flax seeds, or chia or hemp, and I mix them up. I don't ever only eat flax. Sometimes I'll have chia, sometimes I'll have hemp, although I do like actually the golden flax seeds the most. I'll sometimes switch that out and eat the brown flax seeds. And I'll put a little bit in with my evening meal, so this does a few things, gives me some of the omega-3 fatty acids, but also I'm getting some of the lignans from the flax seeds. I'm getting the fiber from the flax seeds. I'm getting the vitamins and minerals and antioxidants from the flax seeds. I do not recommend, or I don't take myself, any kind of flax oil. A problem with flax oil is that most of them are stored in plastic bottles. They can't absorb toxins from the plastic. In addition, that's basically, once again, it's stripping away the food. Like protein powder is to like spirulina, it's like flax oil is to like flax seeds. So I want you guys to eat the whole food so you get all the benefits. Now you might need a higher quantity of flax seeds, to get the same volume of the oil out of the oil, because the oil is basically a highly concentrated product. And if you guys still do want to do oils, you guys could do that, but what I would encourage you guys is to make your own oils. Buy flaxseed and put it through a flax oil mill thing. You could buy them. A Pitaba is a press that I own. Actually, I own ones that you could hook up to juicers that actually, unfortunately, are not sold in the United States. And you can make your own flax oil, and I've made some of that, and maybe put it on some freeze-dried corn with some, curry seasoning and stuff. And it tastes amazing, but I don't do that on any kind of regular basis. I do it mainly like to test the machines. And also, actually, the flax meal that comes out is pretty amazing, too, because it's basically defatted flax meal. I guess you could call that a protein powder. So, and then flax has so many other benefits. It's shown in different studies that helps women who have breast cancer to reduce and, destroy the breast cancer, make that go down, all kinds of cool stuff. So I do encourage you guys to eat whole food sources of omega-3s and especially increase them as you get more wise and go around the sun more. The final topic that I want to share today is my opinions on DHA. And DHA and EPA are basically, longer chain fatty acids that our bodies can make, right? And many people that are not into a plant-based diet say, oh, you need to eat fish to get your DHA, or, that's why some vegans, when they get old, they lose their brain, they go senile and all this kind of stuff, right? So there may be some truth to that, based on some studies that I have, read and whatnot. But I'm not saying eat fish. The reason why the fish have the DHA is because of the algae that they ate, right? So my goal is to find the algae that has the DHA in it and eat that. The problem with that is that some of the algae that make the DHA are not publicly available because they may be very perishable, right? Until I have my own pond and grow the right variety of algae and eat the algae that has the DHA in it, I'm not going to be able to do that, right? So what I choose to do instead is to take and DHA supplement. I'll post a link down below in the description to the place I get my DHA oil, which is basically water extracted. Many places that sell the DHA oil may be hexane extracted, which can introduce other toxins into the product. And so basically it's an algae oil. So that's like probably the one oil that I eat on any kind of regular basis to get my DHA, because DHA is very critical to your health, right? To every cell in your body, also to your brain health, and to keep your brain protected in the future years. So like Udo Erasmus, who wrote books on essential fats, said we are nothing more or less than fatheads. And while I maybe used to do a RFLV or low fat raw vegan diet years ago and try to keep my fat levels down, I never was really good at keeping it super low, but I always included some fat. So I like to eat some fat. So I like to eat nuts and seeds as the sources of my fats, and on a daily basis I might have one handful is my goal, and sometimes I get a bit crazy and have a second handful of nuts and seeds. And it's very important, especially when I'm eating the nuts, and especially including sesame seeds and sunflower seeds. I always try to eat some flax seeds with it, because those nuts are very high in omega-6s, and we need to have a proper balance of omega-6s and omega-3s in our diet. And most people, especially in a processed food diet, are eating way too many omega-6s. And even if you're just pounding down a lot of nuts, you could be eating too many omega-6s. But if you're eating lots of vegetables like I eat in my juices and in my salads and my soups, you're probably going to have a pretty good balance. Now, I do want to say that I have gotten my DHA level checked. I did that many years ago, and I just got a finger prick test actually this past weekend. So hopefully I'll get the results soon to see where I'm at for my omega-3 levels. And it's very important to me because, it's correlated that people with higher omega-3 levels are healthier for a longer period of time. So I don't want to be deficient in any nutrient, and I believe omega-3 and especially the DHA are very essential for long-term health. So that's why I supplement with the DHA oil. And so I would encourage you guys to also do that as well. I mean, here's the thing. I also have friends that are researchers and stuff. And John, if you just eat enough, flax seeds and leafy greens, your body could make the DHA. And, while our bodies can make DHA, right, if you're working properly, there's some genetic dispositions that some people just don't create enough DHA in them. And I don't want to be one of the statistics if my body is not producing enough or proper quantities of DHA. I mean, maybe we could produce enough to live and and whatnot, but it's not enough to totally thrive. So I don't want to take any chances with my health. So I choose to take a little bit of extra DHA oil every once in a while and whatnot. Another common thing that people say sometimes I hear is, John, if you take so much DHA, maybe your body is not going to upconvert the omega-3s and the different, smaller chain fatty acids into the DHA. And so I believe that may also be true or have some play an influence. So, I don't just like dose up on the DHA, I kind of do it at irregular intervals, which may be a good thing or a bad thing. So I try to be balanced as much as I can, chowing down on flax, mostly with some chia and hemp seeds sometimes. So hopefully my body could make it. I'm eating plenty amounts of leafy greens. My goal every day is eat 2 pounds. Although if I'm traveling and things are tough, even sometimes when I'm home, I don't get to eat 2 pounds. I might only eat 1 pound. But definitely, eat lots of greens. Rotate the kind of greens. Eat some flax seeds for their omega-3s, but also other health preventative qualities inside there. And also, I would encourage everybody to take some DHA at least every once in a while, if not regularly. And of course, most important thing is get checked to see where you guys are at. I'll post a link down below to a place that does omega-3, tests. The one that I got, they're around $100. I believe that'd be really a prudent thing for you to do to see where you're at. And if you're not at a good place, work on improving. And we're just human beings, and we're trying to always live and improve. Hopefully every chance we get, and you can only do this if you have and know where you're at by getting some kind of test there. So that's pretty much my opinions on these topics. If you have any comments, check down below. Also, I'll put a link down below to a video I did with my friend Dr. Rick Dina, where we go much more deeper than I did into essential fats. I trust Rick's views highly, and I encourage you guys to check out the video, and he gives actually whole hour-long lectures on essential fats and whatnot as well. So if you guys enjoyed this kind of episode, hey, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. Also be sure to share with other vegans, vegetarians, or people thinking about eating more plants to let them know that they don't need to really worry about protein on a plant-based diet, but by eating whole, minimally processed fruits and vegetables, nuts and seeds, grains and legumes in varying quantities and many different types, they can be totally all right. And especially with the essential fats, you could be all right too. You just have to pay attention to what you're not eating and don't eat haphazardly. And be smart about it, in the end. Also, be sure to check my past episodes. My past episodes are a wealth of knowledge. Over 500 episodes on this channel at this time. Teach you guys all aspects on how you guys could be more successful eating lots of fresh fruits and fresh vegetables, because they're the best foods on the entire planet. Also, be sure to click that subscribe button down below. If you're not already subscribed, you'll get a notification when I do have the video on my recipe book that I'm really excited for, and looking forward to all my delicious recipes, plus lots of information on how I believe health to be and what I've learned over the many years I've been doing this. So once again, my name is John Kohler with OKRAW.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, remember, keep eating your fresh fruits and vegetables. They're always the best.